Hey everybody, what is going on? I'm coming at you with another stream of the AOD series for Star Trek Online today. So with this stream right now, I was going to start doing mission streams on a previous Age of Discovery account. However, I did discover, if you pardon the word, that I still haven't unlocked duty officers, which is a little bit of a pain considering of what I wanted to go over in this episode. So for a lot of new people out here who have just started playing Star Trek Online because they've seen the advertisements for Age of Discovery, they've seen Discovery come on, and had a look, you may not 100% understand how everything works, which is absolutely fine. We all have to start somewhere, there's not a problem in that. And this guide is basically just explaining what the different sections are on the ship. So if you have a look at the ships here that I've got here, yes, I will disclose now, yes, it is a tier 6 ship, but like I said, for what I want to explain later on in the video, I can't do it with the character that I wanted to do the AOD series on, because I haven't unlocked the duty officer slots just yet. So what's currently going on about it right now is that, as you can see here, you have got your fore weapons, your aft weapons devices, shields, deflectors, and on this instance, secondary deflector, impulse, warp, engineering consoles, science consoles, and tactical consoles. It sounds self-explanatory, doesn't it? Well, if you look into a deeper perspective of it all, it's not actually self-explanatory. Because in each one of these, so if you look at the console slots, each one of these console slots, you have multiple different consoles that you can actually equip onto your ships here. Now, the way to get consoles, you just play the game, they will drop. You can create them once you've unlocked your duty officers. You can buy them on the exchange. But I'm going to go into more of how to create them, which is why I needed a character who I'd actually unlocked the duty officers for. So if I take you down to the duty officers, if you go down to research and development, once you've unlocked it, it isn't long after you start playing the game that you actually do unlock it. But you have a quick look on here. I haven't done much on here myself because I've been more just playing through the story on this character. So if you have a look here, you've got item, beam consoles. Now with beam consoles, there are technically two types of beam console. One of them being you've got the regulators here, or the anti-proton regulator here. You have this type and you have this type that I'm highlighting right now. The direct energy distribution manifold actually is a console which boosts any type of beam. The problem with this console is when you start building a ship, especially if you're having issues getting through certain missions, perhaps you're having issues getting past a certain enemy, is this console gives you a lot less percentage damage than what a regular one will, a regular sort of anti-proton phaser disruptor will actually give you. But it caters for all. You don't really want to be going for a mix of different energy types, so you're actually going to just want to go for one energy type. And the best thing to do for them, say you wanted to go for phaser, you can have a look at the phaser relays here. So they will boost your phaser damage. As you can see here, a standard Mark II is going to be 11.3% phaser damage, which is a lot more than the 7.5% that you just saw on the distribution manifold. Obviously it does go up in marks, or the level of it, and the quality you can see on the right hand side there. You can see very rare, uncommon, and common. So this will tell you what rarity it will come out as. The rarer the item, the more abilities it has latched onto it, the higher the percentage as well, for the higher the rank of it, which is absolutely fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So right at the beginning, you're going to be getting a lot of Mark IIs. But that's all you unfortunately can have. Each time you rank up, you will start going further up the chain of levels. So this is the type of console I would recommend, whether you want to go for something like the phasers or you want to go with disruptors, anti-proton. Usually I'd probably recommend just staying with, if you're starting off as Federation, I'd probably start with phaser myself. I always do, especially on these AOD characters, because the beams that you have for the discovery beams, I like the look of, I prefer the look of them, so I normally just stick with them. You don't really need to look into too much detail on the different types of energy and their abilities until a little bit later on, to be honest. You can rock any type of energy, so you can have your Tetrion, your Polaron, Plasma, Phaser, Disruptor, and Anti-Proton. As you can see, they're all the energies that you can see here. But stick to one of them and it's going to benefit you greatly. And my personal opinion is to, unless you don't have anything else, is to stay clear of the direct energy distribution manifolds. They're not going to benefit you as much as what the others are. You then also, for the tacticals, get torpedoes. You know what? I've actually lost them. Oh well. Anyway. You do get torpedo consoles as well, but I've never used torpedo consoles. But as you can see, what I've got equipped onto this at the moment, because I'm actually spending time just playing the game, grinding up resources. You can actually see, I do have a direct energy modulation manifold here. Sorry, I'm getting confused with the trait. Until I actually start creating the rest of the Mark 12s, it's just in there for the moment until also I unlock them. You've got a quantum phase converter that actually comes from a mission, and that will give you the abilities there. But they're the tactical consoles that I would go for until you're able to unlock the fleet ones. But I'll explain that in a later video as well, because that's a little bit ahead of your time at the moment. Your science consoles. So again, there are a lot more science consoles than there are tactical consoles. You have some for shield restoration, shield capacity, shield regeneration. You have control expertise. You have, like this one here, is gives you +4 auxiliary power settings. Everything you've got all down there. These are actually universal, so they can just slot into anything. So don't worry about them. But if I go back into science, boop. You know what? Literally just in it. There's the torpedo ones. It's called being blind as a bat. So as you can see here, you've got some which will be for control expertise. This helps with being controlled by things like tractor beams, gravity wells, little bits like that. I never personally bother with them, especially when just going through the story, so I really wouldn't worry about it. The ones I normally go for are just down here. Is your shield emitter amplifier. Jamie, because if you have a good mixture of these plus emitter arrays, it does help keep your shields up quite nicely. And they're the ones I'd personally go for your science slots until again you're later on in the game, and there's more complications to come into what you really want attached into them. So your engineering consoles. Again, you have a lot more. You have resistance consoles, you have auxiliary power setting consoles. As you can see there, you can see just on the right there, it's +3 auxiliary power setting. This helps your subsystems on the left-hand side, bottom left-hand side of your screen. So this will help boost certain consoles that you have equipped as well. Again, mainly all I normally go for is, especially at the beginning, is your resistance consoles, which is stuff like your hull platings here, as you can see, ablative hull armor, hull platings. Further down, I'm not even going to try and pronounce them because I know I'm going to muck them up. As soon as I come off the stream, I'll be able to say it fluently, like that. You have EPS power flow regulators, which benefit your power settings on the left-hand side. Your sub-power systems, as again, you have at the bottom of your screen. If I just come off of here, just to show in case you're not sure what I'm talking about, you can see my health on the bottom left-hand side of the screen. The little numbers, you have weapons, shields, engines, and auxiliary. They're your subsystems. You can switch by pressing right on the D-pad between those settings, and it will give a power boost to those settings. That's what's going to affect this. So the transfer rate on that EPS transfer is going to affect how quickly they recharge and deplete. Which, if you're something like a tactical officer, is a really, really good thing to have. Because the quicker the recharge, especially on weapons, the quicker the recharge, the better it is for you. Again, not going into too much detail about it. You have neutronium alloys. Again, like the tactical consoles, these actually have a little bit less of a resistance on them, but they cater for everything, rather than just anti-proton damage, phaser damage, disruptor damage. Again, when you're starting off, they're actually, again, not a bad thing to use. With all of these, especially, aren't a bad thing to use if you don't have any of the other consoles. You have RCS accelerators. They help with, especially when you just craft them at this level, they help with use flight turn rate, so the speed that you turn around, basically. Then you have like your SIF generators, which will give hull restoration, which improves your hull, hull quickly. It's pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Your subsistence redundancies. When it loads, come on. There we go. It gives you, especially at Mark 2, only gives you a 17.5 resistance rating versus the duration of a subsystem offline. Again, personally, I don't bother with them. I've never found it an issue where I've been like, oh, they keep knocking my subsystems offline. Maybe when you're in more of an endgame, you're in battle zones, stuff like that, maybe look at it, yes. But again, I just go for the hull armors, just because they give you that resistance boost against energy damage, which when you're at low level isn't going to be much. So they are kind of basically the console sections of everything. You do have your different types of weapons. Again, you can find all of these. Oh, these are engines, sorry. You can find all of these just playing the missions, or you can craft them once you've got the duty officers unlocked. Once again, as you see on the engines here, there is another type of engine you can get called the Aegis, which I don't have the duty officers to unlock that. But as you can see, the three main ones that you've got here are like your balanced impulse engines, your combat impulse engines, and your hyper impulse engines. They all have different abilities. So, looking at the balance, you've got about 13.6 flight speed at a Mark II, 0.42 flight turn rate, thrusters at 25% speed when engines are disabled. So if your subsystem engines go offline due to an enemy ability, they will give you that 25% speed from the thrusters. And then full impulse 71.7. If you have a look at the combats, load, thank you. So 13.4, which only 0.2 less, so it's not really anything to worry about. It doesn't really matter what engines you use, to be honest, especially when you're just going through. There are engines you want to get in the end game, which are going to be a lot better. Hyper impulse, again, is only a 0.2 increase on the balanced. And then everything else is basically the same. You don't really notice it, especially at this level. So to be honest, wouldn't worry too much about it. Just play the game. If you've got a better core, If you get a better core, better deflector, better impulse, just slap it on until you start getting to the end game stuff where you really need to start looking in on how to build a ship. But with your weapons, you can see what I've got here are the different types. I've got sensor linked, I've got integrity link, emitter link. They're all phasers. They just have their different abilities. With the emitter, as you can see, it's +5 shield restoration, +5 shield capacity. The integrity is +5 hull capacity and +5 starship damage control. The sensor is +5 defensive maneuvering and +5 weapon amplification. Again, I wouldn't be worrying about that at all. But just have a look at the energy weapons that you have. Try and stick to the same beams, and you'll be absolutely golden. But as for that, if you do pick a science, you will have this secondary deflector again. But again, just play the game. You will get different drops. Sorry, trying to get my words out. Different drops to give you better stats as you level up. But as of that, that is basically a quick little rundown, 15 minutes, but a quick little rundown of things that you can pop up here. I haven't gone into too much detail because at this point in the game, when you have just started, you don't really want to be worrying about too much, because to be honest, it's going to be pretty easy to get from A to B. But that is it. I do hope you have enjoyed watching the video. I hope it's helped. If you have any questions, please leave me a quick little message and I will help you out as much as you can. You can find this, if you're watching this on YouTube, obviously you're on YouTube. I do live streaming under Shadow Marines on Twitch. If you have seen this on Twitch, then I am also on YouTube under the British Gamer Guys. But that is it. Thank you for watching and I hope I have helped you. Bye.